Okay, here we are at the Targhee National Forest, Mesa Falls Scenic Byway in Idaho, which is beautiful, of course, on the West Meadow Road. Here's a map of the road. You really can't see it, but it's off to the east of Highway 20 there, a few miles. And here's the close-up of the location. It's just a half a mile off the main scenic byway there, real easy to get to. And of course, I always have to show a picture of Persephone hunkering down under the trees again. That's what she likes. And so, you know, this location that I chose here, it's, you know, there's no one around. There's no traffic noise, even though I'm only half a mile off the road. And it's perfect. And it's perfect in a way that I wanted. Well, I'm not staying here for a long period of time, just a couple nights. So I chose this location because it's intentionally not unusual, which I think will become apparent during the sitting. But, you know, sometimes as van lifers, we want the next video to be even more spectacular, you know. Well, in the present moment and let's say spiritual life, no, you can't really go that way so much. Everything's included, you might say. Nothing is excluded or less valuable, let's put it that way. And just, you know, just as a final point, just use your instincts to sniff stuff out, which way to go, left, right, to stay or to go. All that stuff applies when, of course, you know, finding a location. Use your apps if you need to, but also, of course, develop your instincts. And here we are, of course, on the sitting of the morning. And, you know, what became obvious during this sitting is that a camera does not see what awareness and consciousness sees. This sitting brought that contrast and the changes that happened during the sitting forward very intensely. The thing is, this is an absolutely normal or not unusual setting. Just weeds next to where we camped and some flowers. As I said, this was an intentional decision. I'll just plop down right here. There is nothing outside of or is any more or less, let's say, spiritual than any other present moment. You see? There's a bit of preaching here. So, as I've mentioned before, the less doing and going there is, I'm going to do something like meditate, and I'm going to go somewhere like get liberated or something like this, the more the mind has no choice but to step aside and let awareness be what it is or come to the foreground again and again. It was as if different lenses were being changed as the moments were happening. I felt and experienced when, let's say, Barry was there and what he sees, such as nothing particularly interesting in a field of weeds, in stark contrast to present moment awareness, in which the entire scene continued to change into nothing less than the miraculous and changing miracle of nature itself. I mean, in its halting or stunning beauty. When the wind would gently blow the little yellow weeds at the top of the stems, for example, I mean, the entire unity of that scene somehow became absolutely breathtaking. Over and over, the whole thing was changing. I mean, the eyes don't see it, but consciousness does in the moment when the mind is aside. The camera does not and cannot see how the present moments were changing and unfolding in the miracle of nature, weeds itself. I mean, it was remarkable. I sat for over an hour. It was nothing. I mean, that was something. There was just a sense of sailing on whatever was happening. What was unfolding was entirely captivating. And it would change. It all happened on its own. There was just an observer for the most part. what a sitting this was in a small and unremarkable field of weeds. Let's take it in here for the next couple of moments and we'll finish it off. It was the beginning of another perfect day in present moment van life.